President Donald Trump is not only an authoritarian, but he's also really dumb.
Have you given any more thought to possibly suspending habeas corpus to not only deal with these insurrectionists across the nation, but also to continue rapidly deporting illegal aliens?
Yeah, it's suspending who?
Habeas corpus. So.
Oh, I don't know. I'd rather leave that to Christie. What do you think?
No, sir, I haven't been a part of any discussions on that.
Oh my God. He doesnent know. He doesn't know what habeas corpus is. Okay. Who? Suspending who? Dude, what, you think that it was a person? A person named Habeas Corpus? Are you freaking kidding me? What is that, by the way? Well, it's literally a cornerstone of due process, which is probably why he doesn't know what it is, and he probably doesn't care. But for those who do care, like, every single good American patriot should, what it does is that it protects people from being thrown in prison forever for no reason. That's it. Getting a writ of habeas corpus is basically telling the custodian of a prisoner to bring that prisoner to court in order to determine whether or not the person who is detained should be detained. Okay? Whether their detention is actually lawful. We all have a right to habeas corpus. And by the way, when I mean all of us, whether you're here legally or not, that is a fundamental safeguard of individual liberty. And yet Trump, and by extension MAGA, are saying, yeah, we don't care. Oh, we got to get them illegals out. We got to stop them insurrectionists. Now, I'll get to that in a minute. But for one, on the undocumented immigrants, how do you know they're illegal? How do you know? Oh, right, you don't until they get due process. This is why the issue of habeas corpus and the larger issue of due process are so incredibly important. Okay, yes, you need to know whether that person is here without documentation or if that person did a crime before you just throw them in prison, throw them in indefinite detention, or send them out to CCOT. You have to know that you got the actual criminals. And how do you find that out? Due process. Due process. Now, this other question here. Have you thought about suspending habeas corpus to deal with the insurrectionists? What insurrection? What insurrection is going on? There is no insurrection going on. A peaceful protest against the illegal actions of immigration officers does not an insurrection make. Okay? But here's the thing. The right wing has used that word to describe pretty much every single protest that has happened since Donald Trump got back into office. And to be fair, even before. Okay? And the reason that they're doing this is because they actually did do an insurrection on January 6th, and they're muddying the waters. Remember, they tried to stop the lawful president, Joe Biden, from being certified, that election from being certified, because of Donald Trump's lies about that election that they couldn't prove in a court of law. They couldn't prove that there was, massive fraud and so many illegals that voted and he's not the legitimate president. Bullshit. They couldn't prove a goddamn thing, no matter how many judges they put that case in front of. And those allegations in front of. Okay? They still could not prove a damn thing. They couldn't prove any of their claims. That's why they lost pretty much every single court case about this. Okay? And then, last-ditch effort, January 6th, you had Capitol riots. They were not peaceful protests. They attacked police officers. They vandalized the halls of the Capitol building. And had they been able to get their hands on a congressperson, let me tell you what, it would not have been pretty. That's an insurrection. And yet, everyone who was involved in that was given a pardon by this president. But again, there is a reason that they're calling any protest against Trump an insurrection now. And why they're talking about Portland being on fire. Or Chicago being, filled with dangerous crime. Oh, so much crime. So much crime that we got to send the National Guard in. No. Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution states, that the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless, when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. So, Trump is not as smart or well-read enough to know all of this, meaning that he is likely doing what Stephen Miller is advising him to do. Trump probably says, I just want power and I want to punish my enemies and I want to get away with all of my previous crimes. How do I do this? How do I achieve that? And Stephen Miller says, okay, here's what you do. You put out the narrative that you've got violent leftist Antifa insurrectionists. You send in the National Guard and you provoke people into doing violence. You provoke the protesters into being violent, or you just make things up, okay? And then, once we do that enough, we'll be able to justify invoking the Insurrection Act so we can finally take over. This is why Miller, by the way, supposedly froze when he had mentioned Trump having plenary power, which basically means that Trump would have unlimited power. That's what they're arguing, that Trump has unlimited power to do anything he pleases. Make no mistake, this is the real insurrection, okay? And it just so happens that this insurrection is being led by some of the dumbest, most evil people imaginable. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.